Hello everyone. Good evening. I hope I'm both audible and visible in this session. Uh, Welcome to the day 4 of Kotlin and Jetpack Compose sessions. So this was a 4-day session which was organized to help you understand more about the Android app development basics using the Kotlin programming language and also build beautiful layouts for your apps using Jetpack Compose. So this Jetpack Compose was nothing but a latest design toolset which was created by Google so that it can help us build better designs for all the apps that we will be building on the Android Studio. So this is our day 4 and the final session of this series. So I'll be moving on with the next slide. So this would be the today's schedule that we will be covering. So first is the recap of day 3 that we'll be doing for a brief amount of time. And then we also have a small quiz so that you get refreshed with all the concepts that we have discussed up to the past 3 days. And we will be discussing about activity cycles and then what are the architecture components that are available in Android Studio during the app development. And then we'll be doing a small project where we'll be building an unscramble words game, and then we'll be sharing information about app submission guidelines and how you can get yourself the very first GDSC certificate to just give you some proof that you have attended this 4 days session on Kotlin and Compose Camp, and that you are really good at the fundamentals of Android app development. So this is a short recap of what we discussed in. So we discussed about the collections in Kotlin. So there are three types of collections. We have array, we have sets, and we have lists. So these three types can be used for defining your data in Kotlin programming language and also using Android app development. And then we discussed about lazy layouts in Compose. So lazy layouts are nothing but the components which load only when they come in front of the screen, and when they go out of the screen they just don't load in the memory, which helps in efficient utilization of memory. So that is something which we discussed in day 3. And we also looked at a small project where we built a scrollable list app where we had an image and a text which keeps on loading using the lazy layouts concept. So that is what we did in the day 3. And for now, day 4, I'll just be handing it over to Praneetha, who will be taking forward this session.
So yes, thank you, Ujjwal. So everyone, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. So without any delay, we'll move forward. So let's play a small quiz on the concepts of what we have discussed on day one, day two, and day three. So just quiz will be having only 6 questions, and the questions are very basic. So you can navigate to slido.com and enter the code given here 5556535. Guys, join fast as it is already late. Ujjwal, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
I'll share the screen, the slide one.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so we have got 5 members. So, okay, shall I start the quiz? Okay, so I'm starting the quiz. Here is your first question. Which is a keyword to declare a variable in Kotlin? So we have discussed the concept of variables on the day one session. Okay, everyone are saying that it's var. Yeah, the correct answer is var. So first is Deepak, second is Rahul, third is Vishal, fourth is Shiva Sai Kumar, and the fifth is Ujjwal. So let's go with the next question. Which layout is used to arrange the UI components in a vertical order or a form? So this is a part of layouts which we have discussed on the day one itself. Okay, so we have got different answers. So let's see the correct answer. Yeah, column is the correct answer. So and it was Rahul, Vishal, Shiva Kumar, Deepak Reddy, and Ujjwal. Let's move on to the next question. So what is the advantage of using when expression over if-else expressions? These are part of conditional statements which we have discussed on the day two. So the answer is reduce in lines of code. Using when expression, we can decrease the complexity of seeing the code. The correct answer is reduce in lines of code. So you can see the leaderboard. And let's move on to the next question. Which function is used to perform action on a button? We have learned how to implement a button in day two. Yeah, we got different answers. So let's see the correct answer. It's on click. We'll be writing a function inside the on click. With that, we can perform any action using that button. So let's see the leaderboard. And there are 2 more questions left. So which collection can be modified? We have discussed about the collections on the day 3 session. So I have explained you which can be modified and which cannot be modified. Okay, let's see the answer. Yeah, it is mutable list. You can add or remove elements from a mutable list. Let's see the leaderboard. So first is Rahul and second is Vishal and third is Shivakumar. Let's move on to the next question, our last question. So which of these layouts is used to implement a scrollable list? We have discussed this concept on day 3 session and we have implemented an app using this concept. Yes, so it is a lazy column which we'll be using to build a scrollable list. That is the correct answer. Okay, guys. So, are you enough confident now on the topics what you have learned? So you can use chat box to reply. I hope my presentation is visible. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Um so today we'll be discussing about what is an activity lifecycle and what are app architecture components. So before that, what is meant by an lifecycle? Any answers? In general terms, what is a life cycle? You can give any answer. No, it is not related to some like programming. Just in general terms, what is meant by a life cycle? Okay, period between life and death. Any other answers? So, life cycle is nothing but a series of continuous changes. That means in life cycle we'll be having different stages, and each state will be having different changes. So, for example, here we have taken the life cycle of a butterfly. So, in the first stage of its life cycle, it is an egg. So, on moving to the second stage, on later on, it will become a caterpillar. So, the state has been changed. And then moving on to the third stage, we can see that the caterpillar is turned to pupa. And in the next stage, uh, the butterflies will be there. So, at the last stage, it is dead. So there are several changes from egg to its death. That means from its birth to its death. So this is nothing but a life cycle. So we can define a life cycle as a series of changes observed. So everything in the world will be having a life cycle. In the same manner, our application will also be having a life cycle. So in Kotlin development, each activity will be having a life cycle. As we have discussed many applications, we have built many applications, we can see a file named main activity. So yes, that file will be containing many different stages. So here you can see that the activity life cycle consists of different states that an activity can go through. So when activity first initializes, a method called onCreate will be implemented. So in that way, from its initialization to destructions, there are many methods which will be implemented inside the application. So comparing with the life cycle of a butterfly, we can say that egg is nothing but onCreate method in our application. So let's discuss about all these methods and activity life cycle in detail. So here is the image which shows the activity life cycle in our application. So we can see five states in our life cycle. The first one is the initialization, second one is created, the third one is started, the fourth one is resumed, and the fifth one is destroyed. So each state will be having a particular method which will be implemented, and there will be a change in state. So when the app initializes first, the onCreate method will be implemented. So you can see that after initialization, when onCreate method is implemented, the state will change from initialization to created state. So what does an onCreate method do? The onCreate lifecycle method is called once. That means when the app is initialized, it will be called. Uh, and when the OS creates a new activity object in memory. So after onCreate executes, the activity is considered created. So once we get created the app, once we initialize the app and the onCreate method is implemented, then we move to the created state. So from this created state, how can we move to the another state? So there are two functions here, onStart and onRestart. First, we'll discuss about onStart, and later we'll be saying what is onRestart and what is difference between these two functions. So the onStart lifecycle method is called just after onCreate method. So first we have called our onCreate method, and then when it is in the created state, we'll be calling onStart method. So after onStart runs, your activity is visible on the screen. So first, when the onCreate is called, you can't see any of your activities on the screen. So once your app will be started, then only you can see your activity on the screen. So this is written here. Unlike onCreate, which is called only once to initialize your activity. So onStart can be called by the system many times in the life cycle of your activity. So with the onCreate, the app just initializes, whereas onStart will be showing you the output. And then now we are in the started state of our activity, and we can see that activity is visible. And now when we go on to the on resume, that means it brings the app to the foreground and the user now able to interact with it. That means everything in the application is loaded and we can use the application with this function. So now our app is in the state of resume state. Now let's move on to another methods. So on pass, it is called when activity is not visible to the user. So that means we'll be having many applications in our mobile. So we'll be using multiple applications at a time. When we just shift from one application to another application, the application which we were using in the past will go into the on pass method and go into the started state. So even after a very long time, if we won't open the app or the application, the on stop method will be implemented. If on stop method will be implemented, the application will go again to the created state. And once when we open the application, even if it is in the created state, then it will restart. So here we'll be using on restart method instead of start method. Why? Because the activity is already initialized. So we'll be using on restart method. So we can see here that on restart method is called after your activity is stopped prior to start. And then even if you won't open your application for a long time, it will just destroy the application of the activity of that application. And then you can't see any of the activity on your screen. So this is what the activity lifecycle means. This will be applicable to every application what you have written till now. Okay, everyone are clear with this concept, the activity lifecycle? So we'll be having five stages in our activity lifecycle. The first stage is initialization state. In the second stage, after we implement on create method, it will reach to the create state. On start state will lead the application to the start state. And when on resume, the application move to the resume state. So again, when it is paused, it will come back to the start state, and when it is stopped, it will come back to the create state. Once we open the application when it is in create state, again it will restart the application. So but if we won't open the application, it will destroy, and finally our activity will be destroyed. Okay, So shall I move to the another concept which we'll be discussing today? So the another important concept in app development is app architecture. The way we design our architecture enables users to use our application more. So each app should have at least two layers. The one is UI layer and the second one is data layer. So what means a UI layer? A UI layer is nothing but displaying the app data to the user. It's just like images, text, or something. They are independent of the data. Whereas a data layer stores the data, retrieves and exposes the app data to the UI layer. So whatever we store in the data layer is passed to UI layer and the data is displayed in the UI layer. So with the help of data layer, we can access the data which we have stored, or we can store the data which the user has entered or input data, or to get the output of our data, we'll be retrieving data from our data layer. So this is the basic architecture of an application. So the app architecture contains at least two layers, that is UI layer and the data layer. So let's discuss detail in this about app architecture. So we can see that here we can see that there is a data package and UI package. So inside data package, we'll be having all our data, whereas inside the UI, we'll be having what we need to present to the user or what we need to display in the screen. So let's discuss about this application in detail. So the role of UI layer, UI layer is also called as presentation layer, is to display the application data on the screen. So where this data is stored? The data is stored inside the data layer. That means we'll be storing inside this data package. So whenever the data changes due to user interaction means like just pressing a button or pressing a timer or enabling anything. So these are nothing but user interactions. So according to the user interactions, our user interface should be updated. So in this way, we need to design our application. So what is meant by UI? The UI is a combination of both UI elements and UI state. The UI state, so the UI, what user sees, and the UI state is what the app says they should see. That means UI elements is when you see the app, and UI state is nothing but when any action is performed in the application, then the UI state will be visible for the users. These both combinedly known as UI. So here the UI is visual presentation of the UI state. So any changes to the UI state immediately is reflected in our UI. So we are going to implement an application with these concepts today. So this is the application which we are going to build. The application is a game which is unscramble word game. So here is a description of the application. So the unscramble app is a single player word scrambler game. That means the app displays a scrambled word. As you can see, this is a scrambled word. And the player has to guess the word using all the letters shown. Like he should try all the possible ways to form a meaningful word from these letters. So the player scores points if the word is correct. Otherwise, the player can try to guess the word any number of times. So he can enter any number of words until his guess is correct. So we are going to build this application in today's session. So let's see what this application contains. So as we discussed, we will be needing a UI state. So the UI state consists of, we can see that what will be this, what change will be the states. So we can see there will be change in number of words, there will be change in the score, there will be the change in this word. We'll be having 10 words. So when we click on next, we'll be getting different words, and then we have submit button, and then we have skip button. So these are and we do even have a text field. That means when the user continuously enter different words, we need to update that. So this all have written inside one class. That means current scrambled word, which will be displaying to the user, and the current word count. So which will be the number of words and the word which at which the user is playing, and the score. Till now, how much score he has gained. So is guessed word wrong? We are checking that if the user has entered the correct word or the wrong word, and is game over? We are just seeing that all the 10 words are completed or not. So this will be our UI state. The changes in this will reflect in our UI. Yeah, I hope you are all are following and understanding. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. So model. In this model, we'll be writing all the functions which will be requiring to implement our UI state and UI. So here we can see the two screenshots of the application. The first one is while you enter the names or the words which you will be guessing. And the second screenshot is when you end the game. That means when all the words are completed. So you can see at the end we'll be having two other options. We'll be having exit and we'll be having play again. So if we want to play again, we can use the function reset game. So the next function will be update user guess. Whenever the user is entering new word and clicking on submit, we need to just update the user what the user is entering, and we need to check whether the word is present, whether the word is correct or not, and then skip the word. Check user guess. So in this check user guess, we'll be taking the input from this function, and we'll be checking with the whether the word is correct or not. Skip word. With the skip word, here we'll be just getting the next word which is there. And the shuffle random word. We'll be having a list of words, and then when we pick one word from that, we'll be shuffling that word and we'll be displaying to the user. This will be done in this function. And then pick random word. So in this function, we'll be having a list of words and we'll just pick one random word and pass it to this function so that this can shuffle our word into these different characters. So this is how our app is going to be built. So yes, shall we start with our application with this basic knowledge of this concepts? Yes, okay. So I'll be sharing my Android Studio screen. Okay, is my screen visible? My Android Studio screen. Yes, it is. It is visible. So as we have discussed, you can see at the left side, we have our data package, which consists of all our words. So we have all our words written in this. So we have, you know that set off is a part of collections in Kotlin. So we have implemented set off to make sure that no word is repeated in this. So as we have discussed, set will not allow any duplicate elements. So this will be our data in which we'll be displaying to the user. So and then we'll just move on to the UI state. So this is our UI state. In the UI state, we have written all the variables which will be changed when the user interacts with the application. And then we'll go to the model in which we have all the methods we can implement. So the first method, okay, will come from the last. So just we'll be picking a random word. So you can see that all words. So all words is nothing but what we have kept in this words data. See all words. So we'll be just picking with this random function. We'll be picking our current word. So we'll be defining a list of words uh, which are already called from the random function. We make sure that it is not repeated. So if user words contains the word which we have selected, so again we'll be calling this function and pick another word from the list of our words. So else we'll be adding it to our list, and we'll make sure that we'll shuffle the word. So how we'll be shuffling our word? So first we'll be converting into an array of characters, and then we'll shuffle. We'll be having a function called shuffle. So once we shuffle, we'll make sure that the word we shuffle is not equal to our word, which is our original word. So if it is equal, we'll shuffle until it is not equal. So once the word is shuffled, we'll just return. So after that, update the game state. So in updating the game state, we'll be having our score. So we need to update our score. So if so, what if the guess is wrong? So we are doing that. It is false. Score is updated score, and game over will be true. So in the same way, we'll be doing if current scramble word will be if score. If we still have another words, then again we'll be picking the word. And then skip word. Skip word is nothing but moving on to the next word. So with update user guess, we'll be leaving with the null or an empty string. And then check user guess. In this function, we'll be checking whether the user has entered the correct word or not. So we'll be having user guess. If it is equals to our current word, then we'll update our score. So plus is a function which will update our score. So this is score is what we see, and using plus function we can update our score. So score increase, we have given a score increase of 20 here. So we have given a score increase of 20. So for every correct answer, our score will be increased by 20 points. So in this way, we'll be updating our score, and after updating, we'll just call the game state to update, and we'll update the game state. So else we'll update the state with the is you guessed word wrong is true. That means we are asking the user to again guess the word. So this is a function of check user guess, and this is a function when user enters the word multiple times and click on submit. When he click on submit, uh, we'll be updating our user guess with the guessed word. This guessed word will be getting from the text field in the game screen. We'll just discuss that and reset the game. In reset the game, we'll get this option at the end of the game when all our 10 words are completed. So what we are doing, used words dot clear. So we are clearing all the list, and again we are starting our game UI state. So these will be declaring all our variables which we have used in these functions. So this is all about view model. So we have discussed about UI state, the data layer, UI layer, view model, and one more we'll be having game screen. That means the UI which is visible to the user. So in this game screen, so first we'll be having our game status. I can show you here. So in the game status, we are having our number of words and the score. So we have written a function for the game status which takes the word count, score, and according to the UI we have given the padding and the size. The text which is which shows here 0 of 10 words, and another text which shows our score. And then the second function is the game layout. So this is everything comes under the game layout. So inside the game layout we have a row which contains a skip button and a submit button. So this is a final score dialog which will be seeing at the end of the game when all these 10 words are completed. So these are respective functions for on click. So when you click on exit, the activity will be finished. So when you want to play again, so we'll be calling a function play again. So we have our text field here. So this will show if our answer is wrong, it will just highlight the answer like the wrong answer. When you just click on submit, you will be getting wrong yes. And before that, we will be having enter your word. So yes, any guesses for this word, guys? I hope you all are following. Any guesses for this word? Okay, no guesses. I'll try now. It is under. Yes, it is under. So any guesses for this word? No guesses. How will you be playing this app? Playing this game when you develop it? So in this way, we'll be guessing all our words. And when you don't want, you can just skip. And once you reach all the 10 words, you will be getting your score, and you will be getting two options to exit and play again. When you click on exit, you will be just going to the home of your application, of your mobile. And when you want to the play again, you will be just going on this. So we have implemented what we have learned today, that is using both data layer and UI layer. So we have used the data from the data layer and displayed them in the UI layer. That means in the UI. So what does main activity contains? The main activity is having the game screen, which we have written inside the game screen. Just we have as the code is bigger, we have made another file. All this file contains all the components which we have displayed here. And then in view model, we have all the functions through which UI state will be changed. And in UI state, we have what all will be changed. So the words contains the total number of total words, the data, which will be displaying to the user or in the UI. So that's all about this app. I hope everyone understood. If you want to refer more about this application, you can just go through the course we have provided you. So any doubts? Yeah, so if you have no doubts, Ujjwal will mention you about the app submission guidelines and about the certification.
Yeah, so Pranita, I'll be sharing the screen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so hi again, everyone. So this was day four, and we did cover about how to build the unscrambled game app. And now moving on to the final phase of our series with Kotlin and Jetpack Compose. We're giving you a final assignment on the app submission. So this is just test out that you have understood all the concepts that we have covered throughout these sessions. So this is what you guys will be doing in a couple of days. So you have to recreate this screen using Jetpack Compose in Android Studio. So this is how we have designed it. You have a GDSC IARE logo, and below that you will be inserting your name, and the color code is mentioned here. This is in the RGBA format, and then below that you'll have to insert a heart emoji, and then under that you can just mention the text, which is GDSC IARE. So we have also included the color code for that in the RGBA format. Now, a little tip for you to give is that you can build this using the columns concept, which was discussed in the day one and day two of this compose sessions. To add these images, you can use the image class. And for providing the spacing between each of these elements, you can use the modifier classes, and then you can use spacers. To make sure that the consistency of the image is proper, you can also use spacer classes and many more. So in case you have any doubts, you can just head back to our YouTube channel and visit the recordings that we have made for all the day for 4 days of sessions. In case you still have doubts, you can ask us on our GDSC IRE WhatsApp community group. And even if you still don't understand that, there's always Google which can help you out with that. So that is all about the app submission guidelines that we are giving you. And more about this is that we are also providing you the resources for the final assignment. So the images that you see here, the GDSC IRE logo and the heart emoji. So we have included that in this link. So I'll just paste this link in the chat box for you guys to check it out. So it is bit.ly/ccamp task resources. There is a hyphen between task and resources. So yeah, that is the link. It's a Google Drive link where we have included the images which you can use to put it in the your Android app. So we would want you to share the screenshot of how your app looks once you make that. And if you just submit it over to us, we would be more than happy to give you your very first GDSC certificate. So we will be sharing you the form link soon where you can share the image of the screenshot of your code and how your app is running on Android App Studio. The deadline for this we have kept as 9th October 2022, which is also the end of the Dasara vacation for our college. So you've got time until the end of the day of 9th October so that you can submit your apps for this. We'll be sharing the form link soon on all our social media platforms. So, please keep looking out for that. And then you can submit your screenshots. And once it is evaluated by our team, you will be receiving your GDSC certificate for this year. So I think that's about it. In case you have any questions, you can please ask in the chat box right now. Otherwise, we can call it a day and close this session.
So if you want, I can demonstrate you the similar application. Uh, There's a similar way which I have built the application. So if you have any doubt, we can discuss about that application now itself.
Yeah, I think they would need a head start on this. So I'll just give the sharing access to you so
Yeah.
that you can just show how it works.
Okay. Okay. So here is a similar application which I have built. So as all the elements are in the vertical form, so we know that when all the elements are in vertical, we'll be using a column layout. So we have defined a column layout here inside a function. So we have just given an arrangement that all the elements should start from top, and we have given that the images should fill the maximum size. So first we have so as the drive link is provided to you, you just download the images and paste it inside the drawable folder of your application. So once you have kept inside the drawable folder, just call it, just mention the image of, and then painter is the logo. That means I have stored my image inside the variable logo. So we have discussed how we need to store the image with the R is nothing but our resource, or D is drawable, and the name of the image. So we will be just assigning it to the painter, and this content description can be kept as null. And as it is in the center, we'll be using our alignment.center. And we can adjust our height, it is according to the UI. And after the logo, we are having your name. We need your name to be kept. So we'll be using a text widget. So inside the text widget, we'll be giving your name and text align. And then color, we have provided you which color you need to keep. So just use the color function and give the values we have provided. On the font size, and then modifier according to UI, you can use a padding or margin or anything. And then the spacer will give a space between two widgets. So when the space, you want more space or you want a particular space, you can just provide the spacer using the padding. So that means top is equals to 40. So the padding from the name to the image have a padding of 40. So again, after the name, we have provided you another image, which is an heart emoji. So you just need to call the image as we have called before, the widget, the same widget, and we'll be calling another image. We'll be storing another image. You need to just download that image and paste it in the drawable folder. And then you can just provide a spacer to space between an image and the last text. So the last text we have given is something like GDSC, GDSC. So we'll be giving the text, and we have provided you the color which we have to give, and you can just use a modifier to align it or to keep it center. So that's it. So you need to just use a column widget. Inside that column widget will be having two images and two texts. So the app, once you have created this application, you just take screenshot of this whole window so that we can see your code and the screenshot beside. You can just upload in the Google form, which will be provided later. So that's it. I hope you understood this simple application.
Yeah, so I guess that is about it. If you have any questions, you can still ask. We will wait for a minute or two. I'm just reminding again that the last date to submit these app screenshots is by 9th of October by the 11:59 p.m., which is the end of the day. So yeah, I guess that is about it. I think there are no more questions. So I'm just sharing you the link of the app development with Compose course, which is done by Google. Please check it out in the link below. It is a free course and you can earn a lot of badges. We've been saying this since the past four sessions. So it would be really helpful. You can check it out, and there's a lot of resources available for you so that you can upskill related to Android app development and Kotlin. So that's it, guys. This is the end of the day four of the session. I'd like to thank Praneetha for facilitating four of these sessions related to Kotlin and Jetpack Compose. She really took out her time and built these PPTs from the material given by Google. And it's a really great thing that she has facilitated these sessions and explained Kotlin and Jetpack Compose in a very simple way for all of us guys to understand and get started with Android app development. So that's about it. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Pranita, and we will call
for
it a day.
giving me this opportunity also. And,
Uh, yeah,
and
sure.
I wish
Pleasure is all mine, Pranita.
GDSC IARE will be hosting events like this, many more events like this.
Yes, definitely.
So
So thanks a lot,
thank
guys,
you
for
everyone.
attending. Yeah, please do check out the recordings on our YouTube channel in case you have missed any of our previous sessions.
So please share these two links with all your friends who did not attend the session so they can get the resources and the course. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye and have a good night.